Good day, students. You are welcome to Business Technology class. Today, we are going to talk on the topic that says construction of internal tangent to two equal circles. Construction of internal tangent to two equal circles. How do we, in constructing internal tangent to two equal circles, there are various steps. First of all, you draw the first circle using A as the center of that circle. Then after that, once you have drawn that circle with the required diameter or radius, then you can measure from that center to the next center of the circle with center B. Then after measuring it, then you now use that same diameter to draw that circle. Okay? After drawing that circle, now you know you have already identified point A to point B. Now the next step is to locate point C. And to locate point C, you have to bisect AB. Bisect AB to locate point C. So once you bisect AB to locate point C, there is a line, the point of intersection up and down. Draw a line to those points of intersection up and down. Then that line you have drawn, that vertical line you have drawn, will cut the horizontal line AB at a point. That point is your point C. So the next step is to bisect AC. Since you have located point C, you have to bisect AC. Okay? AC is a shorter distance when compared to AB. Okay? We center A, cut an arc up and down with that same radius, and center C, cut another arc to intersect the first one up and down. Then draw a line through the point of that intersection. Then you will get point D. Then after that, use D as center, draw a semicircle. That semicircle is with a radius AD. Okay? Draw that semicircle. That semicircle will touch point A and point C. So after drawing that semicircle, you will discover that semicircle touches center, the circle with diameter C, the center A, at a point. That semicircle will touch the circle with center A at a particular point. That point is your point E. Then you now use your compass to mark, or your divider to mark off that distance from point C to point E. Then swing your compass downwards towards the side of the circle with center B. Then cut an arc there. Then that point is your point F. Right now, let's demonstrate it. Okay? Now, example. Draw two circles with centers A and B respectively, and with a diameter 60 millimeter. If the distance between centers A and B is 80 millimeter, construct a tangent to the two circles and determine the distance of the tangent between the two circles from point E to point F. Okay, the first thing that you need to do is to draw a line. Okay, that is my line. Okay, now towards the left hand side, mark off a point and call it point A. This is my point A. From this very point, I can decide to measure out AB. It's still all right to do that. Use your compass and measure out the diameter given to you for the circles is 60 millimeter. Therefore, you have to use the radius. To draw a circle, you have to use the radius of that circle. Divide it by 2. So it means the radius of that particular circle is 30 millimeter. Why should you use 30 instead of 60? If you use 60 millimeter to draw a circle, it will give you double the radius. That is to tell you that the diameter of that circle is no more 60 millimeter, it will be 120 instead. Therefore, you must use the radius of that particular circle. Radius is diameter divided by 2, okay, and measure 30 millimeter. Okay, when you measure 30 millimeter, exactly, it must not be more than 30 millimeter and it must not be less. With center A, okay, and radius 30 millimeter, draw the circle. Okay, this is my circle. Now my advice for you, since you are still going to use that radius, don't tamper with the compass. Don't tamper with the compass, the radius that you use to measure it. Just keep it somewhere and take your ruler and your extra pencil. Then measure out, the distance between point A. They were drawing the two circles now with equal radius, but there is a distance between the two centers, and the distance is 80 millimeter. You now take your ruler, measure out your 80 millimeter. Okay, from this point A, center A, measure 80 millimeter. I'm taking this point as my point B, which is 80 millimeter. That is from here to this point, 80 millimeter. Now take your compass with this same radius that you used to draw this circle. Okay, that is 30 millimeter, and center B, okay, draw another circle. Okay, this is my second circle. Now, having done that, we now want to bisect line AB. Line AB is from this point to this point. The essence of bisecting line AB is to locate point C. Point C. Okay? To bisect AB, you must use a radius greater than the radius that you have just used. Okay? Just locate it. Just use, like you see point AB, use close to it's supposed to be a convenient radius, but use close to, like, let's say 75% of this line. Okay, we center A and that convenient radius, cut an arc up, cut an arc down. With that same radius and center B, cut another arc up, cut another arc down to intersect the first one. Then draw a line from this point of intersection through the other point of intersection. You can see that this vertical line, this line of bisector, okay, bisecting line, now cut this line AB at a particular point, and that is this point. We call it point C. Okay, we want to bisect this line again, AC, from this point to this point. This is point AC. So you reduce the radius that you use on this to cut these arcs. Okay, we center C and a convenient radius, cut an arc up, okay, and cut an arc down. Okay, with that same radius and center A, cut another arc to intersect this first one, and cut another arc down to intersect the second one. Then draw a line through the point of intersection. Okay, now this point where this line touches line AC or AB is your point D. Okay, that is this point. Now with D as center and radius AD, okay, you just put the pin of your compass here, extend it to point A. Now when you swing it to the other side, you will see that AD will be equal to DC. Okay, that shows that your work is correct. You center D, draw a semicircle, and that semicircle will touch point A and B, and is going to touch this circle with center A at a point. That point where this semicircle touches center A, the circle with center A, is your point E. Okay? Now, you can now take your compass again, or maybe your divider, measure out this line. We said put the pin of your compass here with center C. Measure out this line, EC or CE. Okay? Measure it out. It must not be more, it must not be less. Once you have measured it out, now take it downwards. Okay? Swing your pencil downwards towards the circle with center B and cut an arc on it. That point is your point F. Now, having done that, we're almost through with our tangent. You now take your ruler and your pencil, draw a line. You see the point of intersection of this semicircle, that is this point. And you see this point of intersection of this arc that you have drawn, that is this point, F. Draw a line, and that line must touch that point, and it must pass through the center, C. Okay, that line is your tangent. That line, this line, must pass through point E, through point C, and through point F. If it enters into the circle, that means you are wrong. If it's outside the circle, you are wrong. So it must pass through point E, point C, and point F. So this line is now the required tangent to these two circles. Okay? Now, you may be asked, okay, from the question, you may be asked to measure EF. That is, EF is point E is this point, and point F is this point. So if you are asked to, in fact, from the question you are asked to determine the distance between point E and point F, okay, you measure from point E to F. Very important, with your ruler. Once you measure, let's say from here to here, let's say my work is 55 millimeter. You just write EF 55 millimeter. That is all for now. Thank you and God bless.